together, right? And we are so, so grateful for the office of Congressman Jared Huffman that they provided us with this venue. Quite a package, together. So we welcome you here, certainly our congregation does, and we are in for, I think, a marvelous time together because we need to be together. So with that, I would like to welcome up here Congressman Jared Huffman, our neighbor, our friend.
Some kind of mark. Okay. How many people are here tonight? That's great. Well, listen, thank you so much, the Reverend Jan Reynolds, to this congregation for hosting us, providing such a perfect venue. Thank you to Carol Friedman, Eva Seligman, and other leaders of the interfaith community here in Marin County for working with my staff to coordinate this service, this vigil. And it has been a heck of a day of service and engagement for me and my staff and my wife Susan, who came along for the whole thing. In fact, it got started yesterday because I was very privileged to be the keynote speaker for a huge naturalization ceremony. I see one of our new American citizens right there. Because the husband of one of my staffers here in the San Rafael office was applying to be a citizen. We were able to move it quickly enough that he got to be part of that ceremony yesterday on President Obama's last day. But it was a really wonderful experience for me to speak to 1,200 of our newest American citizens, people from 90 different countries. Every language, religion you can think of was represented in that audience, and they were so proud of being with their families and their guests. And it really did speak to the value that immigrants have always provided to this great nation, the wonderful contributions they've always made to this tapestry that is the United States of America. But it's only one of many things that I've been trying to do during this inauguration period. I could have been, back at a little ceremony in Washington. But what I've tried to do during this period is put together as many positive actions as I could to try to send an important message. And I thank you for being part of it. It started very early this morning with my team working on a Habitat for Humanity project in Nevada. We then got a little paint on us this morning. We then got a little dirt and mud on us up in the Russian River, cleaning up from some pretty terrible flood damage. We then went on up Highway 101 to Ukiah, where we helped pull together survival kits for the homeless. And was just able to say a quick word or two to the United Marin rally just across town. And it's so wonderful to end tonight with all of you, although we're not done, because tomorrow I'll be speaking to a couple of groups that are participating in women's marches. So there's a wonderful spirit in the air. And it certainly is an interesting week that begins with Martin Luther King Day and ends with the inauguration of our new president, Donald Trump. And I would suggest to all of us that maybe that's good. Maybe the reflections and the lessons that we're able to draw from the teachings of Dr. King are exactly what we need right now to help focus us on the task at hand and what we need to do, also how we need to do it. The teachings of Dr. King. is to not despair. One of my favorite quotes is that Dr. King said that our job is to hew from the mountain of despair a stone of hope. Hallelujah. That's right. And look, this is not just naive, wishful hope. There's a very strategic purpose to having hope instead of despair, because despair is the antithesis of action, right? And so those who are not happy with these election results, who are worried, anxious, scared about what may be coming to our country, really need to make that journey from despair to hope, and then that very next important step, positive action. And that's what I see all over this community, all over this district that I'm so fortunate to represent, all of us in our own way. Some were ready the day after the election, right? Others of us took a little longer to process this thing. But we're all, I think, making this journey from despair or denial or whatever to a place of hope and very positive action. And that's inspiring, because I think it's how we're going to get through the months and the years ahead. So thank you for being an important part of it. I want to hand off the program now to Carol Friedman, who is our excellent moderator for this evening. There she is. All right.
I'm honored that Congressman Huffman asked me to work with him in coordinating this event. I've worked with him over time in a variety of local, national, and international issues. He is incredibly well-informed, thoughtful, and deeply principled. I think, like me, we are all of us, grateful and really grateful that he is our congressional representative. We have gathered here in community for inspiration and strength as we face lots of challenges ahead. And this evening we're going to have the opportunity to hear 4 speakers who are from diverse faith backgrounds who will share with you their thoughts about our path ahead. And we're going to have some wonderful music as well. For our first speaker, I'd like to invite Khadija Hanzia from the Islamic Center of Mill Valley up to the podium.
Assalamu alaikum, or peace be upon you. My name is Khadija, and I'm with the Islamic Center of Mill Valley, and I also participate in the Marin Interfaith Council for the past 3 years. On behalf of the Islamic Center of Mill Valley, I'd like to thank Congressman Huffman and the Presbyterian Church for welcoming the Muslim community this evening. We're honored to be your guests, sitting amongst you as your brothers and sisters in unison during these trying times. We're optimistic about this service, which creates a bond of solidarity and harmony and providing a safe space to forget the divisive world around us. In this safe space on this day of turmoil, I'd like all of us to say a Muslim greeting to each other. When a fellow Muslim meets another Muslim, we say, peace be unto you. So can we all take a minute to say, peace be unto you to the person on your right and then to your left. Now let's make America great again. We've heard our new president say, let's make America great again in his campaign, and it's almost become synonymous to say, let's make America great again by being divided. Let's make America great again by spewing hatred. Let's make America great again by talking about women explicitly. Let's make America great again by being racist. Let's make America great again by discriminating by religious beliefs. Let's make America great again by mocking the disabled. Let's make America great again by not respecting our veterans. With that being said, how do you feel about the upcoming months and days ahead of us? Words I've heard are hopeless, fearful, hate, turmoil, and divisive. But a silver lining to all of this is an awakening. The facade of equality has been rudely shattered, and it's been given light to racist rhetoric that Black and brown communities had faced in America for years. It's scary and a huge concern to know that racism was not a deal breaker for those who voted for the new president are now openly racist. An administration whose backbone is to rally and win at the expense of discriminating, marginalized communities is highly alarming. The administration has worked on fueling stereotypes and instilling fear, a tactic of terrorism. This is not how we make America great again, but in fact, how we make America hate again. In this time of hate, I take solace in Islam and think to what the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, preached. He said, smiling is an act of charity. So imagine if all of us smiled to each other and said, peace be unto you. I do believe this world would be very different. He taught us to always respect our women. In his final sermon, he said, neither is the white superior over the black, nor is the black superior over the white, except by impiety. Good character is half of one's iman or faith. Treating each other well is a must, and we should all love each other. These words of encouragement from the Hadith should be a guideline and unite us under this foundation of peace. In a perfect world where we can make America great again is a place where we are all wonderfully inclusive of all faiths, spiritualities, and beliefs. We respect each other for the character of one's heart rather than the color of one's skin. We are understanding and accepting of one's sexual choices. We do not dehumanize people based on having papers. We build bridges between those less fortunate than us, and we love one another. To achieve this perfect world, there are steps we can take to help marginalized communities. The first is, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, seeking knowledge is a duty upon every Muslim. So let's educate ourselves. Let's be curious, let's seek knowledge, let's question the stereotypes, and let's debunk myths. Let's not be victims of propaganda and seek the truth. Number 2, get out of your comfort zone and have courageous conversations amongst each other. I read that 60% of Americans have never met a Muslim, but they're so quick to judge them. So reach out to your local mosque and community. Put a face to them and get to know them. I promise you, you and I have more in common than you think. Celebrate each other's traditions and beliefs and solidify a partnership amongst each other, and more importantly, a friendship amongst each other. And maybe you can attend a rally or a march together. Number 3, take the opportunity to spread your newfound knowledge within your family and friends. Enlighten them from ignorance to knowledge. And lastly, unite together by standing in solidarity. Be the change you want to see. Speak out against what you know is wrong and stand up against oppression. The Islamic Center of Mill Valley has gotten an outpouring of love during these times. There's been hundreds of letters and emails in support. So let us continue to build a bridge between us of love, understanding, and acceptance. And always remember, love always trumps hate. Thank you.
Thank you, Khadija. That was wonderful. Our next speaker is Rabbi Meredith Kahn, who is the chaplain of Kaiser Santa Rosa and Altadate Summit Medical Center. And a special shout out to her because she, at the very last minute when somebody else wasn't able to make it, has come tonight prepared to speak to us. So, Rabbi Meredith.
Hello and Shabbat Shalom. Tomorrow, all over the world, Jews will be reading the opening to the book of Exodus, or Shemot, where we read that a new Pharaoh arose who did not remember Joseph, who was so very concerned about an immigrant group, the children of Israel, because we might become the fifth column with Egypt's enemies. From that fear, he enslaved the children of Israel and set hard taskmasters above them. But then the midwives, Shiphrah and Puah, resisted Pharaoh's direct orders to begin to exterminate us. These two brave women exhibited the first recorded act of civil disobedience. They sparked hope that together we could stand up against the Pharaoh and maybe, just maybe, change could come. And then the people cried out, and God heard them and sent Moses and Aaron, his interpreter, to begin the final assault on the tyrant. It wasn't until the people cried out in pain until their pain was enunciated, that they rose up and their deliverance could come. And so on this day, I take strength from the teachings of our ancestors who showed us that civil disobedience bends the arc toward justice, that we can stand up in ones or twos or groups, and that eventually Pharaoh falls, trapped by his own hard-heartedness. It took all of us showing our faith, showing our courage, arguing, meditating, to come to the day when we could cross the sea of reeds to freedom. And it took a long time. It didn't happen overnight or even in 4 years. We were slaves for centuries, and Moses did not lead us to freedom in a week. We have to be willing to be in this for the long haul, to celebrate each victory on the way, and to have faith even during the darkest nights that morning will come. I'm hoping the parallels were clear here, that I don't have to spell them. We know that violence that was incited during the campaign, broke out the day after the election. I still remember the chill of seeing Representative Huffman's Facebook photo of the Confederate flag at the Petaluma Veterans Day Parade. And just this week, 32 Jewish community centers nationwide received bomb threats. Just verbal threats so far, and I pray they stay that way. But this is the violence and division that has come from the campaign of the new president. So Senator Feinstein's and Harris's, and Representative Huffman's and Mike Thompson's, and Jerry Brown's phone numbers are all in my phone, so that I can call them each day to remind them of their responsibility to represent their constituents. And I fasted today with others. I fasted today with others around the world, as Jews have done in times of calamity and mourning and danger, in biblical times in the Dark Ages. I'll march locally. I'll stand up wearing my safety pin to identify myself as a safe person when danger strikes vulnerable folks. I'll stand up with each group threatened and pray that people will stand up with my groups, Jews, people with disabilities, women, and that we see that all of our oppression is individual and yet connected and intersects, and that none of us can be free until everyone is free, and injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. I stand with Shifra and Pua and all who stand for the oppressed and the other. In the words of our liturgy, Oseh Shalom Bebromah, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, V'yamru Amen. May the one who made peace in the high places make peace for us, for all Israel, and for all who dwell on this fragile planet. And let us say, Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Khan. And now I'd like to invite our amazing musicians up to the stage for our first two songs. So come on up. And while they're gathering, I want to thank Martha Wall and Stephen Iverson for bringing together the musicians and for working with me to choose music for this evening at very short notice. You have song sheets. This is not a performance. This is a time to sing along in community with everybody, because this is also the way that we gather the courage and inspiration to move forward. We're going to be singing two Pete Seeger classics to begin with. I think you all pretty much know them, and all the words are there. You can hum along. If I Had a Hammer and Turn, Turn, Turn.
refrain, so at least sing that one with us. And if you can figure out what's coming next, you know, a time to be born, a time to plant, a time to read, etc., etc., you'll figure it out.
guest musician on the stage. And there's going to be more music later, but we have two more wonderful speakers. So I would like to invite our next speaker, Reverend Jiryu, who is a priest with the Green Gulch Farm Zen Center. Please welcome him to the podium.
Dear friends, and people of your community, it's wonderful to be here and feel the energy and love in this room. And it occurs to me that now is a good time to breathe. They haven't yet come for that one. They will not come for that one. And anyway, we can do it till the end. breathe, to find that place. Where our bodies can settle into stillness. Where our minds can descend down from the swirls of fear, and confusion, and anxiety, and settle into silence for just a little while. And remembering in this silence that we appreciate being alive. It's a good time to remember that it's good to be alive. And so we can give ourselves that gift and give each other that gift now. So our tradition holds that the Buddha entered this silence, the same silence, the same stillness. And what he realized there was interdependence. And this is the most basic principle of our Buddhist faith, that all things are deeply, inconceivably connected, far more than we know with our conscious mind. Each thing needs each other thing. Each person needs each other person. Every particle of me needs every particle of you, and needs every particle of this great earth. And every particle of this great earth needs every particle of me too. So there is no separation, the Buddha realized. There is no independence. Only interdependence, needing each other. We imagine we are separate, but we aren't separate. And since we are not now, and never have been even for a moment separate, any actions that are based on separateness, on self-centeredness, are always in conflict with reality. So conflicting with the interdependent reality of life, these self-centered actions always lead to suffering. And so the Buddha taught quite simply that the standpoint of separation is suffering, and that the standpoint of interdependence is liberation and well-being. And so with that in mind, as I look to the Trump presidency, and reflect on his many promises and remarks, I join many of us in the wide Buddhist community throughout our county and state and country and world in a deep concern that he may not intend to lead us closer to this interdependence, to this non-separation. There are some indications that he intends instead to deepen and solidify our sense of separation from one another and from our earth. There is perhaps no better symbol of this than a wall. Wood could more clearly screen this attempt to harden our separation. Or scapegoating. They are the problem, you know? Those Mexicans, those Muslims. This too seems a habit of our new president, and it is one I deeply hope he will find the wisdom to renounce. The interdependent view is not they are the problem, The interdependent view is we need them and they need us. We are one and the same alike. So the enlightened question is not how do we better enforce our separation, but is how can we deepen and celebrate our true connection. So signs also point to a Trump administration that will seek more and more to codify into law our illusion of separation from the great earth. An administration that will reject the truth of our mutual interdependence with the air and the water and the land, and act instead from an illusion of separation. It appears they believe that the earth is out there, separate from us, and that indeed it is for us, it is ours. But the earth is not separate, it is not ours, and it is not for us. Even a child, I think, understands immediately that we are of it and nourished each moment by the earth, and that from that arises that most natural calling to nourish the earth in turn. So I'm here today to stand as part of the Buddhist community and to bring and express here with all of you my vow, and shared widely in our Sangha, to resist separation in all its forms, in my own heart, in my community, in my county, state, country, world, to resist all forms of separation, and to refuse to act from the illusion of separation. And I'm here to express my vow, also shared widely, to work tirelessly and fiercely, and with all the compassion I can muster, to honor and strive to enact in our society the principle of connectedness and radical interdependence. May all beings come to know their deep connection with all things. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be free from all suffering and all causes of suffering.
Thank you for your incredibly thoughtful words. Our final speaker tonight is Reverend Paul Mowry from the Sausalito Presbyterian Church. Please welcome him.
I wanted to thank the musicians because I love hearing the folk songs and the freedom songs that I grew up with, and I'm looking forward to the great freedom songs that are going to be written in the next 4 years. And I wanted to say I am so proud and humbled and honored to be sharing this opportunity to speak with my Buddhist brother and my Jewish sister and my Muslim sister. And I pray to God that we will all be together and that every Christian I know will fight for the religious freedom of everybody in this country. And thank you for your words. So this Sunday, thousands of Christian churches are going to hear a story from the Gospel of Matthew. And in this story, they're going to hear that Jesus learns about the arrest of John the Baptist, who was a liberation leader in his time. And so we will look and find out at what Jesus does hearing about this. And then what he does is he walks. He gets on his feet and he starts walking. And he walks into the villages where people work and where they live and where they gather. And he sees two brothers. They're fishermen. And as they go about their daily business, casting their net in the lake, he says to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fish for people. And thus he begins his ministry. And it's a ministry that calls on us to feed the hungry, to clothe the naked, to visit the prisoner. It's a ministry that tells us if we love God, we need to love our neighbor. And to the question, who is my neighbor? We are all neighbors. It's a ministry of breaking down borders, every border we've constructed between nations and between people. It's a ministry of abundant, mind-blowing love, of unceasing, audacious forgiveness, and perhaps above all, radical, deep compassion for every single person. Now, I understand it doesn't always look that way in the wide world. So we too must walk. We too must gather our sisters and brothers, like fishers of people. We must reach out to those who aren't here today because they feel too despairing and they're in their homes, and we must give them hope in our solidarity. And we must reach out to those who are so comfortable that they can choose to simply tune out over the next several years. And we must let them know that there's no future in standing separately. There are no bubbles here anymore. And we must reach out to those who are in too much danger to show up. And we must protect them with their freedoms with all the resources we have. So when I enrolled in seminary, my denomination, the Presbyterians, did not allow the legal ordination of gays and lesbians. And folks kept saying to me, well, why are you pursuing this? What are you going to do? Why are you spending all this time and borrowed money for something that you're not even going to be able to practice? And I told them, I don't know. It's something I wanted to do my whole life, and I just had a feeling that it was right for me, and it was the thing I needed to do now. So the church finally changed its constitution and paved the way for gays and lesbians to be ordained ministers just 5 months before I was called to be the pastor at the Sausalito Church. And I served there as an openly gay man with my Jewish partner and our daughter, who we're also raising as a Jew, and my church is very comfortable with that. Now, I didn't know the timing was going to work out so well. And I've been thinking about this recently because I've come to believe that each one of us here, and all of us throughout this country, are here who believe in equality and democracy and dignity, compassion and freedom, that we are alive at this time and in this place for a reason. That even in our grief and our anger and our frustration, I have seen that with our words and our deeds, we've already stood up for the values that make a nation great: truth, justice, compassion, and equality. We are the ones to take on this great work. We are the ones to build the bridges, to tear down the walls of tyranny. We are the ones, in the words of the Reverend Jesse Jackson, to keep hope alive. I am grateful to be in your company. There is no other place I would rather be in the world tonight than right here. There are no other people I'd rather be with in the world right now than you here. And so I hope that we will all get up and walk together in these coming days and years, however long it may be, that we could all go out and fish for people with love to fight for justice and equality and dignity. At the end of our services on Sunday, we like to remember something that's really important. Life is short, and we haven't much time to gladden the hearts of those who journey the way with us. So be swift to love, and make haste to be kind, and wherever you go, may you go in peace. Amen.
Nobody gave me the right to speak here, but I've seen 1,000 people here, and that is America. I I'm sorry that Representative Huffman, I'm sorry apparently you left, but he is a representative of all of us. Good for him.
In the spirit of this evening, we're going to be lighting 6 candles representing 6 important issues facing our country right now. I know there's more than 6, but we chose 6 key ones. Before we end the evening with more music and some final words from Congressman Huffman. Our first candle will be lit by our very incredibly gracious host, Reverend Jan Reynolds, for religious freedom. Our next candle is for immigration rights. We are lucky to have caring nonprofits like the Canal Welcome Center and Canal Community Alliance, now led by new Executive Director Omar Carrera, who's in the crowd somewhere, working on behalf of our immigrants. Be somebody very special who's been mentioned already. This is Inaug Garcilaso. He is, as you know, a new citizen of the United States. And we also have Douglas Mundo from the Canal Welcome Center. And the young helpers. Now I'm going to invite up Belle Cole of Organizing for Marin and Bill Carney, President of Sustainable Sandra Fell, who collectively also represent the Time to Lead on Climate Change and its 13 partner associations, for a candle dedicated to protecting the environment and defending progress on addressing climate change. Now I would like to invite the indomitable Reverend Jamie Spar, founder of Spectrum and Spar, lighting a candle for LGBTQ rights. And now Javon Muhammad, the CEO of Marin City Health and Wellness Center, who also runs the Marin Birthing Center and Girl Power, lighting a candle for women's rights. And our final candle is about our future. It's for youth empowerment, and it's going to be lit by Noah Block and Jose Gomez. Both of them were honorees this year at this year's Heart of Marin Awards ceremony as Youth Volunteer of the Year. Both are active members of the Youth Leadership Institute, and Noah is also a Marin County Youth Commissioner. you all for all that you do. We have 2 more songs to sing. So the musicians, it's your time to come back on the stage. You have your song sheets. The first song is Circle Round for Freedom. Some of you may not know this, it's less familiar. It is one of my favorites, but it's incredibly beautiful. The melody is lovely and simple. You have the words on your song sheet, you'll hear it. Sing along at any time you feel comfortable with it. And it's fitting on this evening dedicated to human rights, inclusion, and social justice that our final song will be Woody Guthrie's American anthem, This Land Is Your Land.
For Circle Round for Freedom, a few of us will sing the song in its entirety for you, so you can hear how it goes. And then we'll invite you to join us. We'll all sing it in unison once, and then we're going to do it like a chant. We'll just sing it until it feels right to bring it to a close.
Circle for relief.
invite you to stand for our final songs. You actually sing them. Vibrance, fire, energy, all the things we're going to need. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to New York Island, from redwood forest to Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. As I've been walking that route of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. I rode and rambled, I rode and rambled, and followed my footsteps to sparkling sands of Virgin Death. And all around me, a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. The squares of the city, shadows, by the reading office, I saw my people, as they stood there hungry. I saw them asking, is this land? Nobody living. Nobody living. It never stopped me. As I go walking, that freedom highway. Nobody living. It made me turn back. This land was made for you and me. And this is where we all go. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to New York Island, from redwood forest to Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. One last time that night. This land was made for you and me.
Okay. How about a hand for our musicians? I tell you what, I feel very spiritually privileged tonight to have heard some amazing inspiration from all of these different faiths. And as different as each of these religions are, I couldn't help but noticing that the bedrock of each one of these faiths, and something that came through loud and clear from each of our incredible speakers, was really the values that we most need right now to respond to the threats that we're facing in this moment of our country's history. And those are the values of kindness and tolerance, inclusion, and community. The faith community, certainly the faith community I represent in the 2nd Congressional District, is just a wonderful model of those values. So thank you so much. I think for me, the takeaway from this day and really from the journey that I've made from despair and denial in the immediate aftermath of the election to this place of resolve and hope and action is that we're not going to let Donald Trump or anyone else divide us, and we're sure not going to let him define what it means to be an American. to be an American, a better one, came from our immediate past President Barack Obama this past week. In a bit of a farewell message that was played in the video at that wonderful naturalization service yesterday. Barack Obama told all of these candidates for citizenship status that America is not and has never been about how you look, where you're from. It's certainly not about who you love or how you worship. It's about an ideal, that we're all created equal. We are going to get through this, folks. And we're going to get through it together with the moral clarity and the resolve and the unity that we have heard here tonight. So thank you so much for being part of this.